Okay, hey there. So it's been a minute since I've done a video like this, and yeah, it's been a while since I've done one like this. So if it's not perfect, sorry about that. But yeah, it's been a minute since one of these. But there were some very big changes middle of this week, right after season ended. I've just been a little bit busy, so I hadn't had time to really put something out about them. But I did really want to talk about these changes because there's a lot going on. So let's just get right into this. So, face value. Literally zero context. Sure, changes are good. Like, yeah, you can get a 6-star Awakening Gem, you can get SIGs, right? I mean, that's a fair few SIGs you can get. You can form it a full Catalyst if you're Paragon, or half a Catalyst if you're Thronebreaker, or 1.5 of each if you're Paragon and you buy the Thronebreaker deals, which also the Thronebreaker deals are overpriced considering it's the same amount, but Paragon pays less for it, so that's also another issue. So first, right, it's a good change. It's definitely a good change for like medium tiers of Alliance 4, because I don't know the exact numbers, but low tier in Alliance War, you just don't get as much loyalty as you could for being in a higher tier. So it'd take a really long time to get up to the 2 million loyalty it takes to form one Catalyst of each of those from the loyalty store. It's a fair bit of loyalty you're going to need for that. And also keep in mind that the reset timer on all of this is pretty much one season, because right, one season is about the 4 weeks of a month, right? It's the 12 wars. It kind of averages out to about a month long, and then the off season it's 2 weeks, right? So 41 days. It's pretty much saying every season, like the start of this, end of this season to the end of this coming season is the one, and then it's going to reset, and you can buy all this stuff again if you want to. So one massive influx of all of this stuff if you're able to buy it. But as I said, if you're in the low tiers, it's probably going to be pretty hard to like get that amount of loyalty, because you get what, it's still 1,000 a day for the help button, and then if you win, I know in like tier 1 where I'm at, I think it's like 60,000 if you win. I think it's something like that. So that's pretty good. You know, that's not bad. But still, when you're looking at spending 2 million loyalty on getting a Catalyst of each, 60,000 a win. I feel like it's 60,000 a win. I'm going to double check it while I'm talking to you guys. So, it's very expensive. But of course, it should be expensive. This is literally a store that's just going to be permanently in MCOC, or for the foreseeable future. And there's a lot of great stuff in it. You have tier 5 CCs, the Awakening Gems, right? You have all that stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. But, oh yeah, so for a win, it's 75,000 loyalty, and then it's 9,000 loyalty for participation. So yeah, it's 80 and a bit thousand loyalty if you win every single war. You know, it's over 1 million loyalty per season. But as we just went over, you need 2 million loyalty for the top stuff. Sorry about that little detour. So, pretty much winning every war in season would get you the Awakening Gem and some SIGs. But now that's not taking into account everything else. So as I said, the face value of this is that it is a good change for like the medium tiers. Because, right, like tier 2, tier 3, I think if you're a pretty good player and you're not taking like 13 fights a war, you can get through it on minimal items, minimal boosting. If you're like a really good player, maybe you can even do that in tier 1. But that's definitely going to get harder and harder, especially if you're taking like more than minimum level fights. You need to use some items in war. It's just kind of how it goes. And as we just went over, it's very expensive. And then that couples in with two other things. So you have your potions, which, right, they got rid of the glory potions. They also stopped compensation, so we're not getting the free potions anymore. And per 9,500 health, you have to spend 20,000 loyalty. And for a 6,000 health potion, you need to spend 15,000 loyalty. So now you're starting to see the issue. So if right? You get that 80,000, let's say, from a win. If you had to use 4 loyalty potions during a war, it completely negates the loyalty that you gained, pretty much. Like, it's almost completely gone if you had to use 4 potions. Plus, the potions go up if you have to buy 2. If you have to buy 3, it goes up even more. So, you're also starting to pay more and more loyalty per health point that you have to do past that first potion. So, that's already getting bad. Now, again, because there is no compensation, we also have less access to the gray boosts, and I'm not sure about for like every single alliance, every single tier, I can't speak for that, but a couple of the big alliances that like I know, and that I know they're planning and stuff like that, and like GT40 especially, it's pretty well assumed that most fights are going to be consuming a gray boost, right? I assume if you're watching my channel, I assume you've seen a couple of my war videos, and most fights I go in with a gray boost on. Like every single war, every single fight, you're going to have a gray boost pretty much. And those are now, or not now, those are 10,000 loyalty a pop. Or if you want to, you know, be a whale, maybe a whale's a bit harsh to say for this, 375 units for an invulnerability, 250 for an advanced power, and no one cares about combat regen pretty much. So, let's say you want to use your gray boosts, and you want to use this loyalty store. You kind of need to buy with units, because as we just went over, you're already running into low loyalty usage, or availability, if you're just healing up your champions. But now if you're also adding in the boosts, and for me, I end up running out not very quickly, but like, they dwindle down fast, right? So, you got to be spending that 10,000, or more like 20 to 30,000 every 3 days. Plus the potions. And now the class boosts, which currently the class boosts are 7,000 loyalty for it, and you can buy as many as you want, and the price does not go up per one that you buy like it does for the potions. It's going to be 7,000 for every time that you buy it. And 7,000 for the big ones, and it's 5,000 for the smaller ones. So 212 are 7,000, and 8 and 150 are 500. But now there's going to be another new change coming in with this loyalty, which is that all class power boosts will be set to a 1 week purchase limit. So that means you can buy 1 per class, 1 per week. Okay, technically 2. And depending on the champion you're using, a 150 is more than enough. Something like CGR, you're still going to get back most of your power with a 150. It's fine enough. So, 2. You're getting 2 per week. I have a friend who's in GT40, and his main champion was, because he's probably not going to be available this season, was Apocalypse. And pretty much every single fight, he'd rock in with like the 200% boost, and he would just like, he would buy them up. If they came in, he fills, he goes in overflow. He does the same with like the 150s, or at least that's what I think he does, because he always has them going, and I have to do that with like Cosmics and Dex, just in case, for like Cosmic Ghost Rider or Doom, as I did in that last war. So you have to buy them pretty often, and when they come up. But right now they come up pretty frequent, but now they're going to be increasing the price, decreasing the amount you can get. Technically this makes it more consistent, because we've seen issues in the past with different timed events that like that they would just vanish for a while. Like the Cosmics would just mysteriously vanish for a while, and everyone was out and they wanted to use their Corvus or their Cosmic Ghost Rider and they just couldn't. Stuff like that would happen. So technically that balances this out. You know everyone can get it, except for, let's go, units for boosts. The same thing that they just did with the Grey Boosts, which everyone was mad about the Grey Boosts last season, because Grey Boosts were previously very, very accessible due to the compensation, and then they got less available because no compensation, and everyone was like, ugh, this really sucks. Because as I said, you go into most fights with them, so it's harder to keep them all up and going. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm choking on something, but I really just want to get through this, because now I'm into it a little bit. So now they're going to be available for units just like the Grey Boosts. And when that Grey Boost change happened, people were kind of annoyed, or at least a lot of people I saw, because you could already buy most of the boosts in the game for units, right? And now with like that Cav EQ deal and the it's also in the Thronebreaker, no, Cav and Uncollected, the Uncollected event quest. You can buy 30% for 1,000 units. It also comes with a lot of revives and energy refills and stuff like that, but it's for the 30% boosts. So for 1,000 units, it's a pretty good deal, and I had to pick it up. Most people can afford to pick it up with like medium grinding. But now, let's say you have to do this at 250 each. It's not too much per boost. Actually, it kind of is a lot actually. But at 250 per boost that you'd buy, that can add up super fast if you run out, right? Because you can only hold 2 or 3 of these boosts at a time. So let's say you run out because your officer assigns them to you. You buy your extra 2, and again, you're out before the end of the week. Well, now you still need your class boosts, so you have to go turn to units already. Like, you could literally have to do that within 2 weeks, depending on assignments, very realistically. And that is absolutely just crazy. And then you have to go start spending 250, and let's say you have to boost for both sections and you need it for both of them. You're at 500 units for a single war there, plus your boost, plus your potions. It's absolutely crazy that they would like put that in, and not, of course, it's not forced. No one has to play at the highest level. No one has to boost. Technically, my officer can't force me to buy the boosts. My officer can't force me to use the boosts. But I like competing. I like giving everything I can into that. So why wouldn't you be willing to maybe spend the 250 units 1 time, 2 times, and then, well, this is just now a part of the game. And now everyone's just having to buy boosts to keep up, and then do you just stop buying the boosts for loyalty altogether, so that way you can save up, and so you can actually buy something from this list? Because, right, this list has a lot of great stuff. Right now, like for this upcoming season, what is it? Master rewards, like, not Master 1 rewards. So the hardest thing to obtain in this game, technically, is 42,000 Tier 5 or Tier 6 Basic, and 33,000 Tier 3 Alpha. For 1,000,000 loyalty, you get more. For 1,000,000 loyalty, you get more again. But to get War 1, we were just kind of going over how expensive that is, right? Like, I'm having to use a 10,000 boost every 2 fights, let's say, right? Because you can get through 2 to 3 fights per 3-minute boost. And I believe it was 66, so I need 33 boosts. And now, that's a couple purchases of this already gone, or that's half of this gone just on the grays. And now if I need the power back boosts, let's say I go through, I think going through 10 this season, like 10 overall, would be pretty conservative, would be a fair estimate for me maybe, but pretty conservative for others. That's another 100,000 loyalty gone. And now just off of those few boosts, you literally just got rid of one of these that you could potentially buy. And now if you're having to buy potions, because let's say you have a rank 4 champion and you take 20% damage, you have to heal 20,000 health, something like that. If it's a big champion, maybe like 15,000 health, right? And now you're having to use 2 potions, which is 40,000 loyalty every single time that you have to do that. And maybe you have to do 4 potions of war, right? That's not like crazy to say, 4 potions of war, right? That's not like crazy. That's 80,000 in loyalty of war, and you're just stacking that up through a season so fast. And now how are you supposed to buy any of this if you really push Alliance War? And that's just like the great question, because I like the fact of this store because it would allow people who are Plat 1, Plat 2 to get pretty much Master 1 or High Master rewards. But for a Masters player, you don't really get to see the benefit of this, is my concern. Not my concern. Like, for me personally, I still haven't bought any of this yet, because I have 2.2 million loyalty. If I bought the full Catalyst of each, I would be down at 200,000 loyalty, and that would just vanish. And then I wouldn't even have any for the next reset of this, as we just went over. It refreshes. So how is that supposed to work? How am I supposed to get the loyalty for this? I love the idea of this, but I think the execution is just not there. I don't think it's realistic to assume most people will get enough loyalty to buy most of this store. I don't know if that's their goal. Maybe their goal is that most players will buy like 1 million max. But still, we kind of went over how like the most you can get is under 100,000 per win, and there's 12 wars in a season, so right, you can get the million. But then how do you get the stuff with the other stuff without resorting to the clear goal of this, of forcing it to be from units? Now, maybe I'm wrong in saying that that's like the clear goal, but that to me seems like the clear motive is forcing it to be units and forcing people to purchase Odins and purchase different things to push in war. I know I'd feel incentivized to do that. Like, that's clearly the advantage I would get if I just bought every boost, every item that I could use with the units instead. I would just go buy 2 million worth, so right, I would just get a full here, and then after season I'd pick up the Awakening Gem, let's say, or the Sig Stones. Or I don't go full whale mode and buy like 2 Odins for my boosts and my items, and then I have to just spend all that loyalty instead on the items, which I don't have an issue with spending it on the boosts and the potions. I think a very easy fix to this would have been not disassociating loyalty from war, but it's very clear that when you look at it as a whole, or for a bit, right, when you used to look at the rewards, even still now, it's kind of similar, but it's a bit more balanced right now, was that Alliance War is where you would get crystal shards from, and AQ is where you'd get rank up materials. Right now, it's a bit more balanced, where Alliance War gives you a lot more, gives you shards, where AQ doesn't, but you're still getting fairish. You're getting a lot of the rank up catalysts. Like for first, if you have first place in war, it's better than first place in AQ, is the math I was told, I believe. But now, of course, if you're first in AQ and you're like high in war, it's better, right? That makes sense. And so for AQ, there are 3 types of ways you get your rewards, which is the ranks and the milestones. Then you have glory, which, right, it's the glory store. Everyone loves the glory store. It has a lot of really fun stuff in there for all your rank up needs. And then you also have the crystals, which, the crystals are, of course, just a great income. They're a great little way to get your stuff up. But I don't think that's like the reason anyone does it. Alliance War. Oh, and you also have like your map completion stuff. So Alliance War, you have the same thing. You have your map completion part, right, where you get like a couple hundred shards, and then you get your loyalty. And then you also get, at the end of the season, the big placement rewards, which would be the equivalent for AQ of your AQ ranked rewards and your glory. Why is loyalty attached per war, but glory is attached at the end? I think a better way to do this would have been not necessarily fully getting rid of the loyalty store and the loyalty system, because loyalty makes sense and loyalty is cool. Sure. The loyalty store having the power back boosts, good. The loyalty store having the war potions, iffy. Currently, the level 1 war potions, or war revives, amazing. I think even keeping the gray boosts in loyalty store is fine. It's been like that for so long. There's no real reason to change that. But then adding in this big store is really cool, because this is now stuff people actually want. Who was, going and using your loyalty on the Unstoppable Colossuses? Who was actually going to buy like so many, or even the Mastery Cores, but who was going to buy so many of something like that you were going to fully run out of loyalty? So giving something like this makes some sense. And loyalty being attached to war has been there for a while, but I feel like, personally, if you're going to make a store this important and have loyalty still give you, because, right, you can still buy class boosts with loyalty. And with a great officer, maybe you can even make these 2 a week work. I think that's very possible, that you can make that work. But why attach this store to loyalty, a current existing system? I think it would have been better to introduce a new currency from war specifically, because it's not even like loyalty only comes from war technically, because you have the help button, which probably also needs a loyalty revamp, considering it gives you 1,000 a day, so you could, after a week, buy one greater power back boost. Really cool. Really cool. Wait, right? It still is 1,000. I'm not, like, crazy. Yeah, it's 1,000 loyalty. Like, doesn't matter how long you've been in your alliance. It doesn't matter how far the game progresses. It gives you 1,000 loyalty a day. That is literally nothing compared to this. Like, 1,000 days later, you can buy some tier 5 CC. That's really cool. You know, so that's my issue with that. I think you should really disassociate the store from loyalty, or make the loyalty items a different currency that's not unit based, because I don't think that should be the focus and force of war, is make you decide between the store that gives you a massive competitive advantage because you would get just so many more rank 4s and awakening gems and SIGs, or you have to have the competitive advantages of boosts. I don't think personally that should be the choice there. I just think you should disassociate the store from loyalty, or maybe change the current loyalty store's currency and make loyalty go for this. But there's just not really a feasible way to purchase enough. Like, I get maybe if Kabam doesn't want you to purchase all of this, because getting all of this every month would be insanity, honestly. Would be insanity. But, so clearly that's not their goal. Their goal is to make you pick, but they could still give you the amount of this new currency where you can't buy it all. But they decided to tie it to a currently existing system that gives players who don't spend a lot of money on this game a way to compete in war. I use the loyalty store for that purpose. It gets me potions, it gets me power back boosts. If I have to start spending units there, I can't spend units on mastery changes as easily. I can't spend units on just Cyber Weekend or on gifting. I can't spend units on revives for content that I might need, or an emergency, or a big deal that pops up. So if that's how they're trying to push war, it will greatly change how people do that. On a little bit lighter of a note, Conduit, wherever it is, Conduit, is currently bugged, of course. It hasn't seemed too bad. Adding Galen in was a really interesting choice. It's the first time they've ever done that. Not sure entirely how I feel. I feel like if they're going to add Galen in, it's really lame that they didn't put Quicksilver right here, because that would have been really, really cool for Quicksilver, considering how easily he applies debuffs. Also, sorry for that like whiplash of me ranting, and I just be like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, the Galen ad is really weird, considering for like the first half, he'll be there for most of the season. Or he'll be there for all of the season if you got him in early access, and he'll be there still for most of or all of the season if you get him in like the arena time. But it's the first time Kabam's literally done this, where like the new champion is also global, and Galen first seems like a good defender, second will be a new champion, so animations are hard, and then 3 will also be global on his first war pretty much, and I would imagine some alliances, if they did get him early access, just won't place him through off-season. Sick and Tired is really cool. I can't wait to see some of these different champions come out to play, if they are, and to see how the bans affect it. Some people are really hyping up the Spider-Man ban. I'm not sure if that'll end up being as potent as some people are hoping. And then down here, there was the node changes. Some of the node changes are cool. It's just adding some different stuff, removing some other stuff. That's not too much of what I wanted to get into with this one. And then there was one other thing I wanted to get into before we go, is people were discussing a boycott for Season 36 because of said loyalty changes, and they were just going to only use the 1 loyalty revives, even in Masters. That kind of fell through. Because as we just went over, you literally just get more if you just spend 1,000,000 loyalty right here. You just get like as much or more than getting first place in war. So anyone not getting first place in war had literally nothing to lose by doing that, and first place in war had like a little bit to... Honestly, it's easier because you're just less stressed by doing that. But then people are like, well, because, you know, the war rewards are just basically now like not outshadowed, but they're not like as insane compared to this now. So then they come in, and we're excited to announce that AW Ranked Rewards is on its way. Changes are currently targeted release alongside Season 37. Why tell us a season out? Like, really, it is cool that they let us know in advance, but people were already considering taking the season off, and then they're just like, yep, next season's going to be a lot better, so F this season. We know that Season 36 will offer players a choice to capitalize on new items in the loyalty store, in place of the usual high-paced commitment in the mode, especially for those who are competing at the top ranks in Season 36 announcements. We mentioned that we want the Alliance War ranked rewards to be among the best rewards in the game, so all the effort that goes into competing for the top spots is appropriately rewarded. Players should expect a large reward update for the top brackets in Season 37. Again, so that's really good for the next season, but like this season, what about this season? And why don't we do this? The two major changes that we know from coming experience: multiple large changes in a single update can compromise the build. So they're pretty much just saying bad servers. If we try to do it 2 in one go, it'll just ruin the game. Historically, our updates to Alliance War and Alliance Quest rewards have been few and far between. Our idea moving forward is for all of our multiplayer modes should start to see a more frequent and reliable reward update cadence, which that is really, really nice. But again, the fact that they're pretty much adding this thing that says, don't use your items in war, use your units, or don't use items in war. And then they're saying next season rewards will actually be good compared to this, which will be absolutely insane to see. I'm really excited to see that. But as I went over, it's kind of dumb. That they can't do it this one. I get that. I get why they can't. If they're saying it's too much stress on their servers, I'll trust them. It's their game, it's not mine, and everyone knows how bad MCOC can get sometimes. But that's kind of my personal thoughts on this. It's a very good face value change, but they should have either disassociated it and made a new currency, made a new store. They should have added it somewhere else that doesn't tie into the free-to-play players' main access to potions, and the only way currently to get power back boosts and the free-to-play version of getting your gray boosts in, because who is going to use 400 units on an invulnerability boost for 3 minutes? I just want to think about that really quick, is that it's over 100 units per minute of boost. It's a little bit crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll have some more stuff coming like this pretty soon, because there was a lot of changes recently, and I want to get more into doing stuff like this too, and not only doing Alliance War like gameplay videos, because I know that's like 99% of what my channel is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are excited about this change more than me. I like this change, as I said, but I wish they had implemented it a little bit differently. I hope my thoughts came across well, and I hope you guys are doing well right now. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye.